Hello, beautiful being. Welcome to In Her Dreams and welcome to your reading. I'm so grateful that you're taking time to tune in to see what messages are flowing in from Spirit for you. Ashe. Thank you, Divine. You know what you need. Your body knows when you need to rest, when you need to nourish yourself, when you need to move. Your body knows. You'll feel when there's energy that needs to be released, whether it's grief that needs to be released through tears, a certain blockage that's there that needs to be let go of, by allowing that energy to just move through you. There's a lot more that you know, that you are aware of, just in a very sensory way. Like your body knows these things. It knows what to do through instinct. It's your biology. But in the Matrix, there are a lot of things that are so intuitive, so natural, that people and sometimes even corporations, entities try to make us think are so illogical. But Divine is bringing through that you know. And so if there is somebody, whether it's a person or a business, a company, a workplace, a family member, whoever it is that's trying to tell you that you don't know what you need, what you are feeling, this instinct that's within you, that is truth. And so whatever it is that is being refuted about your truth, that opposition is the lie. Yeah, you know what you need. I feel like that's just confirmation, okay? As I was cleansing the energy, meditating, some cards from this deck just fell out like that, almost into my lap. And Divine said, those are the ones. Start there. Start with that, okay? So we're gonna start there and see where the rest of the reading takes us. But there's something here about awareness that you have regarding a connection or a situation that at one time brought you comfort, or you expected it to bring you comfort, you expected it to bring you some sort of positive energy. It could have been the energy of security, the energy of, like, you got me. That's what I'm getting. It's friendship and knowledge here. So there was someone or some situation that you crossed paths with. And because it's friendship, I'm getting the energy of cups. Like you thought that this person, this relationship, or this situation, it could have even been a work situation. You thought that they had your back. If it was a work situation, you thought that it was more than just a work situation. You thought it was family. But there's something 444 on the timer that you've come into the awareness of. I'm seeing like a newborn baby open their eyes. And the fact that I'm seeing you as a newborn baby, it's like you really totally thought that you could trust this being, this situation. I keep hearing, you got my back. For some of you, it could be a work situation that you had remained in for years. And so just by the virtue of the amount of time that you had invested, you thought that this place had your back. These people had your back. Whatever awareness it is that you came into about this situation, it's led to your growth, which takes me back to like going from the state of being a newborn to teenage years, middle-age years, crone, you know, becoming an older, more mature, developed, wise being that knows what they know because they've experienced it. So there's something you went through with this situation, perhaps that was painful, but it's something that otherwise, like, you could not have learned this lesson in any book. You could not have learned this lesson by watching any video. You had to go through it. I'm hearing as painful as it was. Your awareness, your consciousness has expanded because of it. And it's your awareness that has put you in a different place. It wasn't necessarily the pain from that situation, from whatever disappointment it was that you experienced. I want to get a card on the knowledge that you gained. They're saying this one. Okay. Queen of Swords is at the bottom. What's the knowledge that this beautiful being gained? Strength, yeah. You learned your strength. And something's over. Something's been completed. I also get that you got the lesson. Like, you got the lesson. Whatever was meant for you to understand, to become aware of, you got it. King of Swords, the Lovers. So there could be a situation here regarding love, a relationship, or union of sorts, okay? It's led to your growth. And with the nature spirits here, there's something about you being supported by energies that are seen, but people don't expect that they would be a supporting, that they would play a supporting role in your life. You know, it's like when we look outside and we see the birds, people see birds every day, but they don't necessarily expect that that would be a source of support for you on your journey. Or a pet or a familiar that you have, or the clouds, or the heat of the sun, or the moonlight. All of these forces of nature are supporting you and have supported you on your journey of growth through this experience, whether it pertains to work, home, family, a friend, someone that you called a friend. Whatever relationship or situation it was that you learned this lesson, there have been so many energies that have supported you along the way that perhaps you didn't expect to be a source of support, but they have been. And that's one thing that Divine really wanted to make you aware of, is just the amount of support that you have in this world. It doesn't always come through that friend that we have in our contacts list that we can call. It doesn't just come from a family member that we grew up with. It doesn't just come from a boss that we've been working with or for 15, 20 years. Sometimes it comes from the flowers, the trees, the birds, a pet, a familiar, the clouds, the sunlight that hits your face when you leave home to go to that job. You know, it's like unexpected sources of support. Nature spirits. Your soul is very dear to nature itself. Very dear. And nature, Gaia, Mother Earth will always look out for you. She does expect for you to continue to look out for her, but she will always look out for you. 11:11 on the timer. A part of your magic is this new sense of self-love that you have with magic and new moon. And from that, those seeds that you've planted, those seeds of self-love, those seeds of whatever it is that you've invested in yourself, whether it's time, learning. I see you intentionally learning, whether it's through meditation and seeking connection with spirit, with source, the universe, your ancestors, spirit allies, however you get down, okay? But seeking that connection, you know that there's a wealth of awareness that comes to you whenever you get quiet and you go within, because the universe is inside you. So it's not just silence that awaits you in meditation, it's awareness. Also, for some of you, you've been seeking knowledge through useful, helpful sources, whether it's reading a book, watching videos, watching a documentary. There are so many sources of information that, yes, are useful, dependable, and reliable. I know that sometimes it seems like a cesspool out there, you know, because there's so much that's out there, but it's not reliable, or it's coming from only one angle. It's very skewed, okay? But you have discernment. So whatever sources you seek for knowledge, because you use discernment, you're getting good stuff. Okay? You are expanding your consciousness with these sources of information. So you've tapped into your magic to plant seeds, to grow your awareness. And by doing that, you're growing your self-love. You're loving yourself more. And because you're loving yourself more, because you're investing in your own energy through knowledge, time that you're spending with yourself, also honesty. You know, because the knowledge and awareness that you stepped into about whatever situation this was that you were in, or that you were investing in, that you were giving your time and energy to. I also heard affection, that you were giving your affection to. So for some of you that will resonate. Whatever situation this was, you've allowed yourself to be in an honest space about what it really is to you. Not to everybody else that was working there. Not to everybody else who was observing your relationship or your friendship. Not to everybody else in the family. We're not talking about everybody at the family reunion. We're talking about you and your experience with this situation. And you've been in this very honest space, which I'm getting it. At one point, it felt like a capsule. Okay, Take that how it resonates. It could have been a place of isolation. So in order for you to be honest about this job, or about this boss, or about this cousin or auntie or parent, or this friend, or about this neighborhood, or about this school, or whatever it is that you've stepped into this awareness of, you've allowed yourself to be very honest about it, but that could have felt very isolating because everybody else around you was like, oh, you're so lucky. I don't know what I would do to be in that situation. You are so lucky. But what was it to you? How did it align or not align with what you're meant to experience here on this earth in this lifetime? And so because you were willing to be honest, you had the power. I'm hearing you found the power within to set whatever boundaries it was that you needed to set. And you're like, no. I'm not about to do it. And there's power in saying, I'm not about to do it anymore. 1616 on the timer, tower energy. This could have created a huge change in your life. Confirmation. Delilah. It's okay, girl. It's okay. Somebody may have been angry or alarmed by your choice that you made to either step away or to alter something in your life. You may have flipped the script. There's something that you just changed, and someone was not expecting that. Somebody was expecting you to do the same thing that you had done before because there was a pattern there that made someone else comfortable. You may have put your health on the line in order to keep this pattern going. You may have quieted those signals that your body was sending through. That was the opening message of the reading. It's like, that's really coming through, that. And your body, it's something very special about your body. It's, you know, everybody gets messages, everybody gets signals, everybody has senses. But your body speaks to you loud and clear. In the past, when something wasn't quite right, you always knew. And this will resonate with some of you. For some of you, you knew because of what your body was feeling. Whether it was a feeling of nausea or a feeling of like anxiety, something just like butterflies in the pit of your stomach. 18 on the timer. So some of these things it may have come through as like hidden energy, but you could still detect it. It was subtle, like the moon energy, the moon card 18. But you felt it. This was a part of your subconscious mind revealing things to you. It wasn't that everybody could see that, oh yeah, this is wrong, this is terrible, there were no lights flashing, there were no warning signs and symbols that everybody could see, but this information, it was so subtle within you. But it was there. You have a very strong alert system. And you can trust it. You can trust it. And it will be more and more accurate the more you listen to it. Because you'll know it. You'll be used to taking that advice that your body is giving you, that direction that your gut is giving you. The more you listen to it, the more you can detect it, the more easily you can detect it. Ashe. So these boundaries that you've set, they lead to something really, really important. They lead to your abundance with affluence. I never know, is it affluence or affluence? Tomato, tomato. Who cares? Your wealth, your abundance, your prosperity. Things are just kind of fitting together, in part because you're Xing some things off the list, or you already have. You might be finding a new sense of peace about this, because a lot of times when we set boundaries, it feels so difficult. It feels, I don't know where I'm hearing rare. Like there may legit have been so many people around you vouching for this thing or this situation, this friendship, this relationship, this workplace, these family members, this community. They were like, no, they're cool. You're lucky. I'm getting though that like nobody was telling you that they were lucky to have you. And that's a part of the falsehood that was being perpetrated in whatever communication you were getting about this situation, was that you were always hearing how you were so lucky to have this situation or this relationship or whatever it was. But the people telling you this were never telling you how lucky they were that you were there. And that really is how it was. They were extremely lucky. But somehow that piece of the puzzle kept getting left out. And perhaps that was by design, by divine design, so that you would realize that that's actually what was missing, was that whatever the situation was or the relationship, that person or that situation was not valuing you in the way that they should have. They weren't giving you what you deserved. And so every time you heard somebody say, you're so lucky to be in this situation, you're so lucky to have them, you're so lucky to be at that job or whatever, it was almost like divine was reiterating for you, do you hear this? Do you hear how that's what's being projected towards you, is that you are so lucky? But what about them? Who's seeing your value? Because truly that's what was getting overlooked. That's what was being swept under the rug. Because whatever situation this was, if this is your reading, if this resonates with you, there was something about this situation or this relationship that was pushing you in the direction of not listening to yourself, of not listening to the guidance of your body, of not following your own GPS. And that's what was constantly being reflected at you. But that was almost like a wake-up call from spirit saying, your value is what's being overlooked. So it was up to you to start planting new seeds with this new moon energy here that valued your strength, your inner voice, your soul's calling. But nobody could do that but you. If you were waiting for someone to vouch for you, that's what didn't happen. And a lot of times we do that. We wait for someone to value us, to see the light, right? And in some situations, on some paths, they do. They wake up and they smell the coffee and they realize, oh, I see you. I see your value. And they begin a process of correcting. whatever it was that they were doing where they were misaligned. But in this situation, I'm seeing that it was up to you. And that's why the Strength card came through, is because it took strength to say, okay, this cycle right here is now closed. I choose to see my value. If nobody else sees it, that's okay, because I see it. And that's what you did. So these seeds that you've planted within yourself, these intentions that you've set to always see and know and recognize and honor your value, they're leading to your wealth, to your abundance. And you've opened a door. You have a key that opens a door to safe travel on your path. Also with talisman, that's an energy of protection. So we have two cards here about protection, because this is talisman, which is not just about opening a door, being able to unlock the energy of something. Okay, almost like opening a portal. But you've opened a portal to safe travel. This is also about protection. And we have safe travel. So this is about your safe progress, your safe movement forward as you journey on the path that's right for you. You're not on somebody else's path anymore. And it really is. It's like this growth card is so amazing. Like, because I was seeing you as a newborn baby, and the thing about it is that energy is so beautiful too, because it's innocent. It's innocent. When a newborn comes into the world, there is nothing that they have done that deserves punishment, because they are completely innocent. And that's a message that's coming through for you. If you were punished or persecuted or gossiped about or harmed in any way in that situation, you did not deserve that. You didn't. Because you had good, sweet, loving, innocent intentions. Your heart was pure. And I'm seeing that with this green safe travel card, the color of the heart chakra. Divine is saying to honor that purity of heart. Because perhaps there was something that you felt like, oh, I was too, I went in not knowing. I went in assuming. Okay, so let's be honest. There were aspects of yourself that did know, because your body was talking to you. However, it's very convincing when people around you are telling you that the way that they're telling you is the right way. Oh, you're not tired. You can work these extra couple hours. You don't need more rest. You can pick up this extra job, this extra shift. You don't really feel that way in our relationship. You don't need that. It's like all of these things that you were being told to quiet your inner voice. So you do have the awareness now of the value of your voice. That's really the lesson that you've gained, is the value of your inner voice. Now you know what happens when you allow someone to take you by the hand and walk you into a trap. And a lot of times, it's like you hear what you need to hear within you. You know it, you feel it. But you tell yourself that it's okay. I can do this because the reward is worth it. Or I can do this because, this person cares. They wouldn't walk me into a trap. But there's a lesson here that you got that has shown you the true value of listening to your inner voice. You will never tell your intuition to shh ever again. You will never do that. And it can be very difficult because usually we experience this all our lives. I mean, let's be honest. As a child, were you encouraged to listen to your intuition? Maybe you were, but maybe you weren't. Growing up in school, if you grew up in a typical school environment, were you allowed to do the things that you were truly interested in, or did you just go by the book and check off the requirements so you could graduate? There's very little, if anything, about the Matrix that encourages us to value our intuition. And so that's what sets us up to get into these situations where we're lured and coaxed into doing what others tell us is right for us. And we're already primed to just be like, oh, gut, you're telling me that this whole situation is a sham? Oh, shh, you don't know. Look at that paycheck, though. Look at that paycheck. Or maybe not even the paycheck, maybe, but it's going to lead to the next situation that's going to be great. You know, it's always like the promise of something, right? But see, your intuition is always a sure thing. It's always a sure thing. It's always been there, and it always will be there. And one of the most beautiful things about your intuition is that the less you betray it, the more that you honor it by accepting what it tells you and moving in a direction that honors what it's told you, the stronger it gets. See, intuition is not karmic. With karmics, the more you give, the less they show up. The more you do for them, the more they betray you. But intuition, never. The more you nurture it, the more it nurtures you. It's a very mutually respectful connection. Us and our intuition, the energy between ourselves and our intuition. So you can always trust it. Ashe. Yes. Thank you, Spirit. Guidance for moving forward, or in this present moment and moving forward for this beautiful being, Divine. What do they need to know? Fighting was on the fence, and it landed on strength. So there might be something that you felt like, do I need to fight? You know, it was coming through in meditation earlier, like, what does fighting mean to you? For some people, fighting is just waking up in the morning and choosing to live another day. For some people, 33, that's the fight. For some people, fighting is showing up for themselves, you know? If you committed to doing something for yourself, you do it. For some people, fighting is actually being combative or coming against someone because they have said something about you. Okay, so let's see what Divine is bringing through with this fighting energy. What's the guidance here with the fighting energy? Awareness. Okay, so it's about being aware of what's going on around you, but not allowing that to torment you. If something is being said about you, if something is being, I'm hearing perpetrated, okay, or if someone is portraying you in a certain light, awareness is never a bad thing. You know, people say ignorance is bliss. Most of the time it's not. In some cases, you know, if you really truly are cool with not knowing something, hey, but awareness is usually a very good thing. It's what we are here to do, to become aware. But there is a fine line between being aware of what's going on and being at peace about that. And allowing your intuition, once again, allowing your intuition and the divine to provide opportunities and guidance for you. If there is a time where you need to speak up, you have the courage to do that. We see that the strength card came through for you. So you have whatever strength it is that you need. Should you ever need to speak up for yourself or take something to another level, to hold someone accountable. But you don't ever need to leave your peace, your peaceful state. Because even if someone does something and you feel like, you know, it angers you because you can't wipe it out right away or shut them up right away or tell them off right away because, you know, you want to, the divine will always ensure that justice becomes manifest in every single situation. And sometimes it's truly our willingness to allow the divine to bring about justice that allows that justice to flow. Sometimes our anger and our desire to stand in the way and take over a situation actually slows the justice process down. You know? Anything else on this fighting energy? Yeah, understanding. Understanding that peace is always yours. I'm going to show you the cards because I was... So there's fighting. Being aware. You see this right here where there's like in the middle, there's like this very peaceful... It almost looks like a Buddha. I'm not sure. Kind of looks like that. Okay, but that's what's within that peaceful state. But then around it, it's like this shadow of like, no, you know, I need to fight. Do you? Because sometimes all we need to do is step into a zone of understanding that I'm good. So there are times where, yes, we need to speak up and let our voice be heard. We need to change a situation. Sometimes we really need to fight for justice. And I don't mean with our hands and fists and, you know, but sometimes we need to take care of a situation through the justice system or through the legal system. But even if we do that, there must be this sense of peace within. Otherwise, whoever it was who started the fight, who came with this energy, this antagonistic energy, they win. As long as we're not in alignment with our peace, they win. But I feel like that's what this whole reading is about the fact that you have come into a deep awareness and understanding of the strength inside you. And you understand that that strength comes from your eternal, your infinite wisdom that you have access to as a result of your connection with the divine. Ashe. I'm going to close with a mermaid card. That's a good energy to end with. I haven't used these cards in forever. I used to use them all the time. I'm drawn to them again. Thank you, divine. What's the closing message for this beautiful being? Positivity was in reverse. If there are any doubts about the road ahead, let those doubts go. Ask yourself, why am I doubting my access to this positive energy? What do I feel is standing in the way of a positive result, of a positive path? But you know what? Confirmation of that you have positivity coming towards you, came through with that talisman and safe travel. So perhaps this closing message is about you releasing any doubt that you've had about the positive nature of your future. You are protected. And because of the work that you have done to grow and to expand your awareness. Divine is letting you know that you can rest assured that your path forward is safe and it's protected and it is wealthy. And that's not just because of chance. That's not just because of luck. It's because of the work that you've done to invest in yourself. It's because of your strength and your ability to set boundaries and to discern. And whenever needed, to speak up for yourself or for anyone that you love. Absolutely. Ashe. Thank you, Divine. I'm so grateful for these messages that came through, Spirit. And beautiful being, I'm so thankful that you took the time to tune in. Thank you so much. I hope that you got something very positive out of these messages, whether it was clarity, insight, some support, or just good vibes. I love you, and I wish you peace. I wish you joy and so many blessings. Take care.